So, in these last few weeks, it seems that we are getting closer and closer to finally seeing Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. And in these last few weeks, we kind of heard rumblings of this sort of quartet, I think would be the right word, between Fury, Usyk, and Joshua Wilder, all taking place at the same night in Saudi. Would love it. I think this idea in boxing should have been done a long time ago, but it's one of them. It sounds good, but is it going to happen? I don't think so. And there's not really talk about Fury Usyk fighting. There's talk about Fury fighting Andy Ruiz. There's talk about Usyk fighting, I don't know. There wasn't really much talk about Usyk fighting anyone. Dubois was mentioned for Alexander Usyk, but other than that, there isn't really much happening with those two, and it's a shame because these are the two heavyweight champions, but ultimately, it's just what it is at the moment. For Alexander Usyk, nothing. For the guy who is the unified heavyweight champion, there isn't really many big things coming at the moment. And for Tyson Fury, same thing. Even though you want to talk about the likes of him being this big name and fighting the likes of Usyk and having this whole thing with Francis Ngannou, he's not really active enough, Fury, I think, for him to realistically, I think, have that support that I feel he kind of has lost with the boxing public with all these shenanigans with him not getting a Usyk fight over the line and pulling out fights and what have you. So, irrespective, though, of what is happening there, we could be about to finally see Joshua and Wilder. And it's been a long time in a history with this fight that goes deeper. People all want to see Joshua. I mean, they want to see Usyk and Fury. It's undisputed. It's the fight we all want. However, people forget, or they don't forget, I think we all remember, Joshua and Wilder was the fight. And when I say the fight, I don't mean, yes, they both were champions at one point. I don't mean in that. What I mean is, it was the heavyweight fight. I mean, if you look at them both physically, Joshua and Wilder, first of all, physically, they both look like heavyweight champions. They're both physically in fantastic shape. They're two guys who, one of them's a bit of a loudmouth, one of them is a bit quiet. Both knockout artists. It was just the perfect fight. It was like two, I think Wilder actually even stated it in this way, like two kings almost coming together. Two guys who would dominate everybody. It was such a big fight, and we never got it. We got Fury and Wilder. We got Joshua Ruiz, and we also happened in those fights. And then when Fury beat Wilder, we thought maybe Joshua and Joshua and Fury could happen. But then what happened? We saw Joshua fighting Usyk and losing 2 times. Shows you got to make these fights when they are there for boxing, which is why I'm grateful that we got to see Davis and Garcia, and why I hope we see Spence and Crawford, because these fights, they can lose their shine very quickly. However, I would wonder, and I do wonder in this fight, if this fight gets announced, and let's say hypothetically it were to be Usyk and Fury, which fight would I think get the more hype? Because I do think there is still a lot of people that want to see Joshua and Wilder, and I think with Joshua and Wilder, there is that sort of I don't know, there's that kind of that real like monstrous fight feel to it. It's a little bit like when you sometimes see two fighters who, like with Tank and Garcia, for example, a lot of people thought Davis was just going to go through him, and you kind of do get that feeling a little bit with a lot of big fights that there's rarely been a fight, I feel, where you've seen two guys who are kind of viewed in such a big way that when they clash, it's going to be crazy. Golovkin and Canelo was really the only one I can think in recent years. Spencer Crawford will be that, which is why we need to see that fight. But really, it's never really been that. It's always kind of been, it's a big fight, but there's usually a guy who you clearly think is going to win. And I don't know, I just feel like that I'm talking about what it was like back then. Maybe you could argue the narrative has changed now that they've both been knocked out and Joshua didn't look fantastic in his last fight. But I'm interested. And I think we could be about to see this for so long. We wanted this fight, and with what's going on, Joshua's talking about how he feels it's 95% done on his side to fight Wilder. Guy did a video with him and he was talking about for sure that's the fight that's next December. We remember that's what Joshua said, and because I think he had an injury in camp or whatever. And Deontay Wilder's now posting saying it's going to be done. Malik Scott's talking about how they want that. Wilder apparently I don't know if he's going to training camp, but he's talking about how he's heading off to war and doing these weird poems that he does on his social media. I like this. I think we're getting close to this, and I do wonder what is going to happen in this fight. Is Joshua going to be scared to pull the trigger? Is Wilder going to swing like a lunatic? It was always the narrative of these two of who lands first. However, Joshua has become gun shy in recent years, which I think has led people to think that he's going to get KO stiff by Wilder. And I don't disagree, because I think if Joshua fights the way he fought against Jermaine Franklin, he will. If he fights the way he fought against Usyk the second time, however, with a bit more aggression, I think he could get it done. And I'm excited for this, though, if this does happen. I didn't put it on my, at least I don't think I did. I didn't put it on my most anticipated fights for 2023, but for sure this would be an amazing fight in December in Saudi, and potentially maybe they decided to get this one done first rather than get the Usyk and Fury done and they're trying to get that one last. I don't know. Seeing Wilder on a Fury undercard would be a hard sell, but I guess if you get paid a stupid amount of money, I think you can swallow it. Same with Joshua. I do think, though, this fight does seem to be edging there, and I think the press conferences, the build-up, I would do a lot to really sell this fight, because this fight, and another thing I like about this fight, there's no belts on the line. There isn't any, same with Davis and Garcia, you don't need the belts. I said the other day, the belts aren't really what is important. What's important are those holding it. It's about the fighters, and with or without the belts, Joshua and Fury and Fury is a big fight, but Joshua and Wilder is also a mega fight. And UK, US, two knockout artists. I think this fight has been in the works for a long time. We wanted it for a long time, and I would be interested to see if this one does finally come to fruition, because, like you said, it has been a fight. It was the heavyweight fight. We all wanted it for so long, and unfortunately they both waited too long and they both got beat. It should have happened before, but it didn't. Regardless, we're going to hopefully see these two square off. And I think it will be interesting to see what they are both like. If their chins are the same stylistically, if they are both going to fight aggressive, whatever happens, I'm excited to see if this fight happens. But I do think that this fight does seem close to happening, and it's just my quick thoughts on these sort of updates, because I do feel with Joshua and Wilder, they both do seem quite willing to make this fight happen. And when that is the case, usually a fight gets made. Same with what happened with Tank and Garcia. So, yeah. Just my thoughts, though, on the seemingly ever-growing news that Joshua and Wilder get closer, could be in December in Saudi. If it happens, I think it'd be a great fight. I think it'd be great for boxing. But, yeah, just my thoughts on it. And, yeah, until next time.